All right, welcome to episode 11 of Let's Talk Voice. I'm
Yeah.
your host, Will, and my other host, Kevin.
Hello, hello, everyone. Yeah, it's how was your week? We'll jump right into that.
Um, it's okay.
Eh,
I mean,
you
I
know,
I, I d- did a little bit of updating,
okay.
but we'll probably get into that later. But yeah, I did
Okay.
some work, but yeah.
Work.
How about you?
Wo- the same. Worked, but we had a little bit of break in the weather, so it was a little bit nicer. So I was able to get outside, do a couple things,
Nice.
um, kind of prep for do a little bit of spring cleaning, I guess, stuff around the house.
Okay.
So that's always productive. So,
Have you done any
but
more videos?
So I haven't. The weather was kind of rough, right?
Hmm.
And so I really hadn't gotten out to any places that I wanted to get to
Gotcha.
as far as my photography, but it's on the agenda. So
Nice.
I'm like a warm weather photographer. So
Yeah, because it's been cold and you had a bunch of snow, right?
we did. I think you sent it my way. You sent all that cold weather and everything my
Yeah, maybe
direction.
some of the cold, but not snow. I mean, we barely got a dusting, so
Lucky, lucky.
maybe Wisconsin sent it your way.
Those people from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, yeah. So
oh,
Um, wanted to bring up that we also have the Discord. That's a great
yes.
way to interact and give us some feedback. Any topics that you want us to talk about, by all means, feel free to jump in there. It's free, no cost to you. You're good to go, and we would
Mhm.
love to have you.
Yep. And that's kind of where I post most of my stuff. I kind of post it on art Discord. Um, And that's I mean, I've posted on some other people's Discords too, but I post like all my stuff on Discord and I don't usually post it on anything else. Even
Right.
though we are on Mastodon,
Hmm.
I'm still haven't got back into the whole social thing besides Discord. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you want to see what's happening with me, that's where you'll see most of my stuff. Um, when I remember to even post it in Discord. So
No, that sounds good. Sometimes it's nice to disconnect from social media a little bit. I
yeah,
haven't really touched Twitter too much. Facebook isn't really my thing. Uh, some Instagram. I'll do some photography stuff on Instagram,
right. Hmm.
but nothing consistent like I should. But you'll have this. Um, I need ways to stay up to date on some pop beans. So that's what I need to figure out because I've been trying to follow Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
It's coming out soon. Um, Actually, it'll be the end of April. And for those of you who don't know, big Star Wars fan. Um, Always trying to keep a handle on what's going on. You've got all the shows, different movies. There's a whole comic book universe that's out there that
Hmm.
has all these stories involved, and video games are just another medium for that. And
Hmm.
so, uh, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is kind of the second. It's like the sequel to a story that's been following Cal Kestis. And are you
Yeah.
familiar with this one, Will? Or not? Not exactly.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I started playing the first game. I
Hmm.
haven't really finished it. I want to because I just saw a um one of my YouTubers that I watch a lot um made a mentioned this game and they were saying that it is during the Mandalorian series time frame.
Ah.
So you might see some
Mm.
uh people from that universe in the game. Not
Sure.
Mando, of course, but
Right, right.
like some other low key characters
Mhm.
from that universe, that time frame of Star Wars might pop into Jedi Survivor.
Interesting.
And I believe the guy was saying that Cal is supposed to be like the same age as either I I think he said Luke, but then he was talking about
Mm.
the age of what's her name, the other Jedi in Mandalorian with the
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Oh, okay.
Ahsoka,
Okay.
yeah. So um so it was either Luke or Ahsoka, but Ahsoka's like 40 in Mando,
Right.
and Luke is like 24, 25. So he's pretty young. And yeah,
Yeah.
so somewhere in between those two, that's how old Cal is.
Right. Right. You know what? For this, just give me BD1. That's all I want.
Right?
Just BD1,
Do
you
you
know.
have a BD1 Lego by any chance?
So I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I went with an R2. Um
Mm.
so I did that instead of the BD1, but I've seen some builds of the BD1. Amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan. But BD1 was one of the characters that was in Mandalorian, but it's not the same BD1.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. I always like
there's
those
that
little connections, Easter eggs. Those are always cool. So
for sure.
I think there's another game coming out, Will. Uh,
Yeah,
you might have heard of it, Diablo,
yeah, Diablo
something like that.
4. Um,
Yeah.
so Diablo's pretty big for me because I kind of was raised on Diablo. All my brothers would play it and got me into it. And I even it's actually one of the games that I would play with one of my brothers still. The
Okay.
third one.
Sure. Sure.
So when the fourth one comes out, I'll probably actually be able to play with my brother another game, which would be Diablo. So
Right.
it's a pretty big thing for me and my family, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, uh, it looks great. I was kind of disappointed. I was trying to get on this early access last weekend, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you could buy some KFC, but you had to buy it from uh, KFC.com or their app, mobile app,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
ordered it from DoorDash. So I didn't get the free access last weekend, so I was a little disappointed.
I don't even want the food. I just want the early access.
Yeah. I mean, the food
Yeah.
was good, but yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
wanted more of the access than anything.
It's
So,
always interesting to see some of that, those promotions and things
yeah,
that
it
they
was
tie
really
in.
weird.
Do you remember when I think it was it Mountain Dew was real big into that? You could
Hmm.
get codes and stuff for I think
Yeah,
maybe Halo and everything.
Halo or Call of Duty, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So so for Diablo 4, that was a weird way to say that. But for this game, it's open world. Is that what I'm hearing? There's an open world element to it
Yeah,
that's
I'm guessing it's
interesting.
kind of be like the mobile app, um,
Mhm.
but better,
But
more,
but better.
yeah, more of a PC type of game.
Mhm.
Although it is available for like everything. So,
Sure.
um, I did share Star Wars. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot to share Diablo 4 though.
no worries.
Um,
So, my question to you then is what is your first class gonna be?
I have no idea.
I ask the tough questions here, you
Uh,
know?
you know, I I I don't know. Um, Probably a rogue, if not
Okay.
a sorcerer.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
I normally am barbarians, but I just wanted something else, you
Right.
know?
Spice it up a little bit.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
there's some variety. I like it. I like it.
Uh, I they they had, like, a ranger in past, ones, and I don't
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
that, so that's
Mhm.
so disappointing, but yeah, rogue or sorcerer, I would think.
Yeah. Always a good choice.
Mhm.
Cool. Cool. Um, well, that was I like those pop beans. I always like the hobby tie-in, the video game aspect with the pop culture. It's always a nice little thing there.
Exactly.
Um,
Yep.
so for our I'm gonna jump right into this meaningful conversation. Um, had some questions that we wanted to answer this episode.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a little bit of a mailbag episode, but how do you measure the first question that we're going to talk about is how do you measure if a skill is successful? So, in your opinion, Will, do you have an answer right off the bat? What is success to you? Is it just getting it out there published, or is it something that people are interacting with, or is it maybe financial gains? What to you defines success when building for voice?
I think, if building for anything, um, I think it's users. If you have the
Users.
user base, um, that is you're touching a bunch of people,
Hmm.
and if people are continuing to come back, uh, that's even better. But the more people you touch, the more your skill is out there, and uh, people know of it. So I think most of it is users. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Um, I know before on the stream I've talked about not just putting a skill out there just because you can. I mean, that's personal success in a way, in that,
Yes.
I've accomplished a goal. Like, my goal is to publish this skill that hopefully people find useful.
Hmm.
So, if I made step one, publishing that skill, and then step two, having users engage with that skill, I think that's a win, you know.
Yes.
Um, I if I implemented ISPs in skill purchases into my skill and it was bringing in something, that's another win, that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. It shows that you're putting out something of value that people are willing to spend money on, that they're willing to pay you for your efforts and find your product or your brand or your skill useful, in that
Yeah.
regards.
With that
Um,
said,
mhm,
if you have users, I would say 5%, one out of, um, I'm horrible. 5 out of 100, or
uh
1 out of 50, is it? 1 out of 50, yeah.
yeah,
So if you have 1 out of 50 users,
mhm,
uh, like, buy something from you, that is a huge win.
yeah,
So if you have more users, that would eventually equal that you are going to have monetary gains if you have purchases in your skill, of course. Oops. Uh,
right, right. You would think that
um,
those numbers would extrapolate out a little bit, if you have 1 for 50, then you'd have 2 for 100 and that kind of, growth
yes,
type of thing. That makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, so along the lines of having users. and we touched upon it very briefly, but having kind of return users
Mhm.
is an important aspect, at least to me. You know,
Mhm.
you don't want just a one-off thing.
Right.
I don't want to be a search engine and somebody just uses me once, right? It's like, what time is it? There we go. Here's your answer. It's done, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, so we have some tools in our analytics dashboard that we can kind of look at the amount of use per day, per week, over a long term period.
Mhm.
And there's some really good statistics that we can use to kind of gauge how successful that skill is. I don't know if there's anything that you want to talk to about that you have that you've
Um,
seen in your skills. I mean, if you've seen holidays tend to get more traffic, or I say traffic, but engagement, or
Actually,
sure.
at least during the winter holidays, I see a downswing,
Okay.
or a dip. I think that's what it's called.
Hmm.
A dip in customers or just people interacting with the skills. But
Okay.
just recently, I looked at the all my skills. Um, Cards of Wonder went up 4% in the last week
Hmm.
of unique customers, which
Sure.
means unique customers are new to the game.
Hmm.
So that is a big win in my eyes. And then
Absolutely.
talking about your retention. So retention is really, really hard. Uh, um, I think I know what I'm doing, but it doesn't matter because people are just themselves. So
Mhm.
they do whatever they uh it's hard to like um take a hold of said users and hold on to them forever.
Right.
Uh
Right.
so actually these numbers are pretty great. So my in February 6th through the 12th, I had 43 users. 23% came back the next week.
Okay.
Uh, 11% came back the following week. So it was, yeah. And then still 11.6, 11.6, and then it dipped down to 9.3. And so
Okay.
when I say 11.6 and 11.6, that is of the initial 43 users.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that I believe that's like 6 or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's 6, or no, I think it's 5. 5, 5, 5, 5, and then it went down to 4.
Okay.
Um, and that's great that I held on to people that long out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
10, almost 10% for 4 weeks or 5 weeks in a row.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, so I don't know what I'm going to go off of that, but
No, I would consider that successful. I really would. You've established a user base. You've retained that user base, or in that percentage of that user base. I mean, because you're right, humans are weird, right? Um,
Mhm.
for me to use a skill, I have to be almost in a routine. So when I use my skill, or use a skill, let's use Cards of Wonder for example, right? I have to be in this office when I in the mornings, and it's just part of my routine that I go through. The lights come on, the echoes over here, I play, I go, right? But if something alters that routine, so let's say sick kiddo, or I'm upstairs working for the day, or what have you, I don't. it's just not part of my habit or routine, and then
Mhm.
I'll miss that type of thing. Um, and it all depends on the skill too, because with Cards of Wonder, there's an attraction to come back day after day. You get
Mhm.
your points, your wonder coins, your everything um, that you want, and then you're collecting, and you have that leaderboard aspect and those types of things. And so that helps for that repetition and that retention. If you were if you had a weather skill, right? Same thing. Every
Mhm.
day you're checking the weather, right? Um, if I ever publish my photography skill where it gives you these ideas or situations that you can go out and shoot, um, that you might not use that every day. You might use it once every week, once a month, whenever you get a chance to go out. So that's sporadic and that's random. So I would look at it to gauge success on that kind of skill. I would look over a large window of time.
Gotcha.
Maybe a season, right?
Mhm.
Spring, summer, winter, autumn, fall, whatever. So it's all about how you personally feel successful with a skill. I think to best answer that question.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would like to see, uh, I don't think there's a way to do it. Uh, for like skills like you mentioned your camera one, where you have, let's say, 43 users in a given week, and
Mhm.
then only 12 users the next week, and then another 43 the next week. I'm just throwing numbers out there.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
I would like to see who are those returning customers from 2 weeks ago instead of
Oh.
uh
Mhm.
um and you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way they have this spreadsheet out, you can't really tell if they're
Mhm.
returning customers um from when
Exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
I they started in February 6th through the 12th, but you don't know if they were before the 6th or 12th either.
Exactly, exactly.
So,
Yeah, it numbers are good, statistics are good, more details are always better, right?
yeah, true.
And 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 we can adjust for that from a developer point of view. We can kinda if we had that that more specific information, we could potentially make changes to our skills that would involve them more or incorporate differently, those types of things in order to increase retention and whatever it might be.
Mhm.
So you're absolutely right. Um, I do like analytics. I like to look at numbers and trying to determine the pattern and the who's and the
Mhm.
what's and the whys. So and and those do help determine whether or not, again, a skill is successful, right? Whether it's worth investing your time into or making improvements for, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So if you don't have very many users, maybe it's just not something that you need to pursue, or you need to just scrap it and rebuild it, or appeal to a different market, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So not bad, not bad. But along those lines, maybe of rebuilding, improving, whatnot. Have a question here of how do you determine what to focus on when improving or updating your skill? And for me, first thing would be bugs, right? The
Mhm.
first, if it's something broken, you gotta fix that first.
Right.
You can't. What's the good grief? The analogy, you build a house on sand and it's not a good foundation. You'd
Mhm.
rather have it built on rock or whatever, and build strong and build up, right? So for me, bugs right off the bat. If I find something that it's broken, gotta fix that first.
Yep.
Um, and then I would probably go to features. So I would add things that either maybe I got feedback for, So if I had a person request, hey, you have these types of elements in your skill for photography, but I would like to see A, B, and C as well, or X, Y, Z,
Mhm.
what have you. Then I would start to implement those, you know. Um, for me personally, I like to start with the easy stuff and work my way up to something more complex. Just I like to cross things off the to-do lists.
Yeah.
That's just my personal preference. Other people, they like to go full speed, hit those hard projects, and then just wind down with the easy pieces, you know. Uh, because as you know, Will, there are some, complex things that we can do,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and we bite off a little bit more than we can chew, or we have this great idea, we're really excited about it, and we get into it and realize, yeah, it's quite the project, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like you've been talking more at me than,
I
but
why would that be, Will?
no, you're saying all the right things. But then you have polish here too. So what
Yeah, yeah.
is that your last thing
For me, it
for
would
you?
be. Yeah. I mean, it's a very critical part, because I want that polish. I want that, you know, functionality or whatever it is, that end result to be just spot on. I hold myself to high standards. I want to make sure that it's there.
Yeah.
Um, but polish is kind of that last step for me.
Okay.
Making sure everything's nailed down, then I put the coat of paint on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that could
I
be like
would
APL and stuff.
for me. Oh yeah, yeah. APL and you said SSML tweaks. So
Yeah, yeah, I could play around with those forever.
yeah, for sure. Um, for me, feature updates and polish are one and the same.
Mm,
Uh, so I will group them together for mine. But 100% bugs are a must. They just need
yeah.
to be fixed right away. No matter what skill it is, or if you're not working on that skill, you got to fix those bugs. And I actually just found a couple of those bugs in Space Marauders uh, this last weekend. Um, one, actually, I knew of one, but I forgot to look into it, and I put it off. It was such a silly thing, but so Alexa would say, "Do you want to go to?" I'm blanking on all my uh
Like the
Elios or
holodeck or something. Oh,
no
planet names. Okay.
planets, planet Elos or something like that.
Mm.
And then she would say, or it would say dot instead
Oh,
of
okay.
having a period and a pause.
I see.
So it would say dot after that uh, planet name, um, and uh, so I fixed that. That was one of the easy fixes, but I just had to do it. Then the other one was um, a little bit more difficult because I use APIs in my skills, and meaning I have external processes that are either on a time clock or just get ran when the user interacts with the skill, something like that.
Mhm.
And one of them was the Emporium, yeah, Emporium. I'm saying it right. It just sounded weird. For where you can buy little things to help you in the game,
Right.
and using in-game credits, not real game credits, or not real money. I mean, and when you would say it, it would not launch. It would just say, "I'm sorry, I can't do that right now."
Okay.
And I'm like, I wonder why that is. Oh, Will decided to delete all his dev APIs, and my skill was going to that dev API instead of the prod API. So it was a
Okay.
pretty quick fix, but I had to do some investigation.
Right.
So,
Right. One of
um,
those panic mode things like, "What?"
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and that I I didn't know until I was playing it this last weekend, and but that's another thing is I want to bring back after I go over my feature updates
Sure.
is customer engagement. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Features, you nailed uh, the head on the nail, whatever. Uh,
Hit the nail on the head, yep.
yeah, with me on features. So uh, many of you know that have been watching this for a while. I started Powers Fighter a long time ago in the summer.
Mhm.
I noticed that it was a lot bigger of a task than I thought it was going to be. I had to learn API, a web API for games, and I was not in the right mindset to learn another some more code at that time. So I kind of put it off. But then I actually had this idea to update Cards of Wonder. This feature update for Cards of Wonder, I already knew was going to take a long time, but I haven't gave up.
Mhm.
I have been working tirelessly trying to get all these cards recreated in my new feature update. Um, and I'm almost there to at least creating the cards. Or no, sorry, creating the characters. Then I have to create the cards. So hoping for a month or 2 months down the line, we'll see.
There you go.
But yeah, 100% features are a must when you have skills. It might be a customer brings it up, or it might be just something that you really want to add. And this
Mhm.
is something that I wanted to add or change for the game. And because I thought it would make uh, the daily interaction even more for
Okay.
the customers to come back more every day, even more. And that's why I thought this feature update would be best to implement
Mhm.
above all my other to learn stuff for Powers Fighter or even my pets for Space Marauders. Um, but you definitely have to, like you said, um, prioritize your whatever updates you want to make, and you have to commit to it. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you can't do like I did with Power Spider for everything. I mean, I have enough games that I at least I'm committing to something, so I don't feel so horrible. But yeah, you just have to set your mind to it and commit.
Mhm.
And um, and if you do, I'm sure great things will come out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so coming back to features are that are coming from customers.
Yes. Yes.
I want to know what your thoughts are on this. This was actually in office hours today. Um, Nick from Sleep Sounds
Okay.
was on there. Wait, is it Sleep Sounds? I think
It
it is Sleep
could
Sounds.
be. I had a work meeting, couldn't make it on
Okay.
that one.
Yeah, Sleep Jar, Sleep Jar. I knew
Oh,
it
sleep
wasn't Sleep
jars.
Jar.
Okay. Okay.
So Nick from Sleep Jar was on, and he was saying that he has the support email on his website for Sleep Jar and also on the skill description.
Okay.
Um, I think that's pretty much what I do,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not a lot of people know about the websites. So
Right. Right.
most people find, I'm guessing, just by randomness or going to the skill store. So, what is your thoughts on that? How are you able to
Hmm.
interact with customers? Um, I was one more thing before I let you go. What one other one that I had experience was with Discord. I had some people from the Alexa Games channel uh, play my games and then gave me feedback
Sure.
on my
Sure.
games. So that was a great interaction because I could actually talk to them direct messaging or through Discord.
Mhm.
So I thought that was a excellent way to do it. But
Yeah.
that's all
Yeah.
I have on that subject. What are your thoughts?
No, absolutely. That kind of ties into what my first thought was. And my first thought was social media, right? I mean, I've kind of dropped off, like we talked about at the top of the show. I kind of dropped off a lot of my social media. Um, but you know, reach out to us on Facebook, or you know, DM me on Twitter or what have you. Those types of things are very quick and easy to do.
Hmm.
Um, if there was an let's say you have Cards of Wonder pop up, right? And then at the bottom you had your three icons, maybe Discord, Mastodon, and Instagram or something like that. Like that you could just tap and it would pull a card to your phone or something like that that would just
Hmm.
ease that transition, right? Because that's always jarring when you go from like one to another and you have to like pull out your phone to do like two-factor authentication or something like that. You always have to like play with it.
So
But
you just to go off that,
Mhm.
are you talking about like APL or like something on the screen that a user can tap?
That could be an option. Yeah. Because I mean, for me, my first thought would be to go to the skill store, right?
Hmm.
Um, l- because that's kind of the landing page. That's where I got it from. That's where all the info is. I know that reviews are on that platform, so that would be my first
Yep.
like instinctive thought, right?
Hmm.
And it's very easy to do on your phone. Um, but if you're in the skill, I would like to have a way to just ease that to go from the skill to the skill store. Maybe that would be the part that I'm trying to get at.
Hmm.
Um, because if you look at it from like a phone app perspective, right? Uh, you go to the Play Store, you go to the Apple App Store, and that's where you get it from. That's kind of where you go, right?
Yep.
Um, you always get the pop-ups, leave us a review.
Hmm.
That's where you get your feedback from, right?
Right.
Somebody's leaving a garbage review because something's not working right and they're upset, they're going to tell you about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of my first thing would be like a link or what have you to go to that the Alexa skill store basically. Um, I do like when people reach out on on social media though. Like it's kind of more personal in a way. Like
Hmm.
if I had a Mastodon page for my photography skill, right? And you're using it and you're like, wow, buddy, the macro photography section could use some work. It's almost like you send that as a DM or whatever, and then you can have a little bit of a conversation, a little bit more feedback that way, right?
Mhm.
Um, so something like that. I probably lost sight of the original question at this point, but
No, I think
it,
you're right on track.
where that's where I would go to. Um, Now again, though, if I were almost a company, right, or a game studio, and I was more well known, then yeah, I would probably have a website dedicated to a lot of that, in addition to those socials.
Mhm.
Um, if I had Kevin's photography, uh, most people probably wouldn't know that exists, and they wouldn't really associate that with my skill.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, I think that's kind of my roundabout, rambly answer to that one. I would I would utilize that a little bit on the skill store
Okay.
probably first. Interesting question though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
Well, it's almost 8:45 here.
Oh, sure.
Let's try to get this skill pulled up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar, or maybe missed last week's episode, I was I my bean of the week was actually involving with Paizo's Starfinder. So it's a tabletop RPG, and uh, was really wanting to get into that a little bit since I finished up a campaign and was looking at something new, right? Something different. And Will was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, there's this Alexa skill that Paizo put out that involves Starfinder. It's got like voice acting, um, narration, that kind of stuff, and we're gonna see if we can check it out. Maybe, maybe we'll see.
Um, Maybe I'll stop sharing this. It keeps on crashing.
Huh, no big deal. It's definitely a skill to try out. That's for sure. It's quality. It has some really interesting aspects to it. I'm actually going to pull it up on my end myself. It has some really good reviews to it. I'm gonna take that right there.
Yeah, it is really well done.
Mhm.
And yeah, I need to figure this out.
Yeah,
It's
no,
annoying.
no worries. I like this part in the description where it says, "What exactly is this thing?" It's if you tossed a podcast, an audiobook, a sci-fi movie, and a role-playing game into a blender together, Starfinder is what you'd get. So it's an audio adventure. It's interactive. Uh, it pauses as you're asked to make choices, and those
Mhm.
choices directly affect the story. So really, really cool. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do if I would run a Starfinder game.
Uh, and most of you know who Nathan Fillion are. I'm guessing would know who Nathan Fillion is. And he is a voice cast on. He is one of the voice cast on this game. Also, Laura Bailey
Mhm.
um, was on Critical Role.
Yes.
So if you don't know what Critical Role is, it's a group of, I would say, famous actors, but they're really good um, at playing D&D, and they
Yeah.
play D&D, and it's been a really wide known game that they record, and it's uh, like a YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, they stream it, I believe, and they have,
yeah,
a whole campaign arc that they'll go through. Um, yeah, it's quite a big deal. It's actually really, really popular.
yeah, it's really good too. So she also was in this as well. So,
Nice.
um, I guess she did The Last of Us 2 voice acting as well. Uh,
Oh, neat,
I didn't
neat.
no, I didn't actually play that game, so
Yeah. Well, cool, cool.
but this
Yeah.
sucks. Sorry for not being able to show you it again. But um
Yeah. No
I don't know.
worries.
We'll
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 dig.
we'll figure things out, I guess.
Not a problem. We'll dig into it. We'll figure it out. You might have to like rearrange your desk space or something like that. Figure all that out, which is actually related to my bean of the week. So
Oh, snap.
look at that. Look at that. Um, I'm actually going to be redoing this space that you see here. Um, it's gonna I'm gonna tear down all these sound panels. I'm gonna be putting some rough cut on the walls, rough cut lumber on the walls, kind of what that shelf is. If I flip it up that way
Oh,
and
yep.
cover the walls, it's gonna look a little bit more professional, a little bit more finished. Um, this thing here is probably going away. It's gonna be covered up. Some of the LED lighting that I have around here is going to be changed a bit. So that's actually my project for next week. So yeah, but I'm also going to pull in a new desk because right now I have this nice little L-shaped desk, but I have a longer standard issue standing desk. So I'm going to put that against the wall. It's going to be all different, all new, all different. Pretty cool.
Nice.
But something else that I needed to pick up um, was a dual monitor stand riser. So if you look at this bean of the week, it's kind of a almost like two shelves, and they kind of overlap a little bit. But I can put a monitor on each one, and it raises them up a little bit. So it's very ergonomic, and it'll tie in really well with that standing desk or the L-shaped desk if I wanted to, because I can pivot those platforms, right? But it's also going to be a little bit more clean because I can just tuck my keyboard, which I have a Bluetooth keyboard that I use when I'm not using a mechanical one that's wired. But I can like slide it right in underneath there,
Ah,
kind of keep it a little bit more tidy, a little bit more neat, a little more professional or
yeah.
something like
We're
that.
not
That's the
talking about
that's the
my desk.
that's the plan, Will. I'm not
Okay.
saying that's gonna like. I'm not saying there's professionalism coming from this guy.
Oh,
I'm just saying
okay.
that's the plan that we want to do.
I
So
was
if I can
just
maintain the illusion,
looking. Uh, I am actually looking down right now at my screens
okay,
when I should be more looking like at least like this,
yeah,
uh, and not looking down like that. That doesn't make any sense. So I like this idea, but I'm just gonna raise up my monitors
there you go.
because I have they have
Well,
they have what is it called?
yeah,
Telescoping
yep,
ability. So
nice. Well, we'll have to get like a posture check that you can spend your Twitch nerd gold. We'll have to get like a
right,
posture check thing, and people can like remind us to stop slouching.
I thought there was one, but maybe not.
Well, there could be. I don't think I
Nope,
saw it, but
nope.
all good. But yeah, that was my bean of the week. Um, you should expect. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So you had one as well, Will. I think.
I did. And actually, this was actually my wife's
Mm,
because she had some headset that she used for work. Um, I mean, technically, I should have just gave her mine now that I think of it, but I should have gotten a new one. No, and
right.
she needs something new. I did a decent research. These ones are a little spendy. They're over 200 bucks.
Okay.
They're Bose, a headset.
Sure.
But they have, I guess, crystal clear microphone. They don't actually have a microphone, but it's built into the headset. Um, and also has noise canceling. So great for the office, trying to focus on a conversation, whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, and so I got these for my wife, and she loves them. She way better than her old ones.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, she really loves them. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, they look really nice. Comfortable,
mhm.
lightweight. Um, how's the charge on them? They last a long time.
I
Seem to do
think
pretty well with the battery.
13 hours, 14 hours, something like
That'll
that.
work. That'll work.
Oh,
Nice.
this is up to 24 hours. So I lied.
Oh, cool. Hey, even better.
Yeah,
Even better.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of get what you pay for with some of the name brand stuff. And I think Bose has always been one that just the
Sometimes.
qualities. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's true. The qualities. So cool. Really cool.
But yeah, no, Bose is good quality. I was trying to get her a pair of my Sony, not these ones. I keep on pointing to these ones. I have them upstairs, but I have them for work. I have a Sony brand, which also used to be was a bean of the week for a
I
long
remember
time
that.
ago.
I remember that.
Uh, but these are a little bit cheaper than those ones. And I mean, they seem like as good of quality, if not better. So
Cool. Cool. Nice. That's a good pick then. It
yeah,
really is. Um, so I guess that brings me to the next point. The next time that you see this office in my side of it, it's definitely going to look different, but that's going to be in 2 weeks. So
correct.
we just wanted to make everybody aware of that, that there will not be a show or an episode next week, but the following week we'll definitely be back ready to hit it hard again.
Exactly. We will have be having some more guests in April and May as well. So look forward to those. Um, can't tell you who they are because I don't have them all locked down yet. So we're still working on who's going to be on when.
Mhm.
So, but we will be having more guests. So that's something to look forward to.
Sure.
Do you have anything else?
No, just we appreciate everybody stopping by. If you're watching this later, feel free to leave a comment and give it a like and everything as well. But feel free to reach out to us on Discord. Like we said, is kind of preferable for us both at this point. But we're out there.
Yep.
Feel free to reach out. So
Well said. All right. Well, have a good week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
yeah,
Bye,
take care,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks for hanging out with us. A few last items if you don't mind. Like and subscribe. It's free and really helps support us. Leave a comment about your thoughts on the show. And join our Discord and say hi. Thanks for hanging out with us. A few last items if you don't mind. Like and subscribe. It's free and really helps support us. Leave a comment about your thoughts on the show. And join our Discord and say hi. Thanks for hanging out with us.